Hi everybody, it's Jenny. I'm coming to you today with another deck review. I just received this deck. This is the Lilac and Cherry Twilight Lenornand. I was very happy to find this deck on eBay, and I didn't realize there is a potential issue there. I bought this from a seller who's in Ukraine, and the price was $21, and that includes the shipping to the US. So that was like almost, if something's too good to be true, it probably is, that old saying. Anyway, I ordered this on November the 4th, received it in the mail December the 13th. So it must have come by, the shipping was free, so whatever the least expensive shipping was the route that they chose. But my main issue is that I'm concerned. I have read on some of the tarot forums that it's possible that I may have bought a bootleg copy of this deck. And I don't know what the quality will be like, but let's take a look and see. It did come out to me in this nice shrink-wrapped package. Printed in 2014, so I believe the original deck was a 2012 production, so it's possible that I may have got a not an original copy, but in any event, we'll take a look and see. I'm going to pause this for a moment so I can get the shrink wrap off. Alrighty, the shrink wrap has been removed. Flip top box. Nothing too exciting there. We've got our two decks. We've got our little white book in the middle. I just hate the thought of buying something that's been bootlegged, and the original artist should not be cheated out of their due rewards in that way. But hopefully this is not a bootleg. Hopefully it's just a inexpensive copy that somebody wanted to sell. Alrighty, we have a little white book here. It's in Russian. So the beginning part of the book is in Russian. Then there is a section in English. Dear friends, you are holding a unique Montic tool, a new version of a small Lenormand oracle, a set of two companion decks, the vintage Lilac and Cherry Twilight Oracle. Let us say something about the idea of companion decks. When working with the traditional deck of the Lenormand Oracle, it sometimes turns out that the 36 cards are not enough for a detailed review or to clarify all aspects of the question. Many readers, not relying on a single spread of cards, use another deck in addition. However, choosing a predictive instrument that would work harmoniously together with the first one can present certain difficulties. The idea of companion decks solves this problem without changing the system of the Lenormand Oracle and provides many new and interesting features. The symbols of the two decks do not change from the traditional Lenormand Oracle. In each of them, you will find that the fox, child, bear, cross, etc. Therefore, both of these two decks is a full Lenormand Oracle, which, if desired, can be used independently, or you can use one of them as the main predictive tool and the second as an extra to clarify responses that were unclear with the first. So, very good. And then we do have examples of readings, card meanings, and they give you an example of a past, present, and future reading here, how to do a reading. We do have traditional meanings of cards, and then we also have Lilac Twilight meaning and Cherry Twilight. So the meaning is slightly different depending on the deck. I'll have to yes, depending on the deck version. So let's take a look. Okay, as you can see here, I went through and removed the cards from the packaging. It's just a flip-top box. I'd done a previous flip through of the cards as they came to me out of the box, and they were all mixed up. So I thought what I'd do, I went through and straightened them out and put them in order, and I thought it would be nice to show you a side-by-side comparison of both of the decks. So I'm redoing this section of my video, and I hope you enjoy it. So over here we have the Lilac Twilight deck, and here we have the Cherry Twilight deck. And there are the artist cards. So we are going to compare them. Now, in the Lilac deck, we have a unique card, the Fortune Teller, and that is an additional card. I found the information about this card in the book, and it sort of loses something in the translation. This card is Fortune Teller. I think they mean it to be used sort of as a significator card. It says the Fortune Teller can become your card if you guess to yourselves or acquaintances. In more general cases, the card can show that it is necessary to address a professional, a predictor, a magician, or a psychologist for help in the considered situation. So you can use it as part of your reading, as an additional card beyond the 36, or maybe in some sense as a significator card, or you can take it out and not use it at all. But anyway, your choice. I really like this card, Fortune Teller. Very beautiful. All right, now let's move on to the decks themselves, the actual Lenornand decks. Here is Rider, Lady Rider or a Gentleman Rider. Now, each card has the title in Russian as well as in English, and they've got the card affiliations, the playing card affiliations, and they've got the number up in the other corner. But I like the way they did this. It's very unobtrusive. The central image is still the main focus of the card, and even though these cards have borders, it does not detract from the cards. The border is very unobtrusive, and I really like the border. I know a lot of people dislike borders, but I think in this case it works. Now the cards themselves, they're kind of thick, but they do shuffle all right. I sort of gave them a little shuffle through earlier, and they are flexible. Not as flexible as I might have preferred, but they do okay. And the card backing is this lovely image of a couple of butterflies, and we've got the Twilight theme in the back with these sort of sunset colors. Very pretty. And both decks have the same backing. Exactly the same backing. There is absolutely no difference in the backing between these decks. The same. Alright, so there we have Rider, Clover. I really like this Clover. That is so pretty, but they're both nice Clover cards. The Ship, House, both lovely homes there. Tree. I tend to prefer this tree. It's more traditional looking, although this is the winter tree bending under the weight of the snow. A little bit darker. It's at night. It appears to be at night with the moonlight on it. So, clouds. These are clouds over the ocean, clouds over land. This is kind of unusual in that the dark clouds are above the light clouds below. You normally see the darkness on the underside of the clouds, as you do in that card from the Cherry Twilight deck. The Snake. This looks very similar to another traditional deck. I can't bring to mind the name of the deck at this time, but I know I've seen almost an identical snake to this in another deck. So there's the Snake. Coffin. Next we have the Coffin. Both very workable cards. Bouquet. Scythe. I prefer this one. It's a little less busy. This has got the flower and the hourglass in there, and they're both good. They both work. Broom. And this card actually includes the whip in there with the broom. Birds. A couple of nice birds cards. The Child. I like both of those. The fox on the left is stunning. The one on the right I'm not so sure about, but they both work in a reading. Oops. There is Bear. Stars. This is your traditional stars. This is more of a constellation look, and I think it sort of loses the appeal. You can't actually see the stars there. I don't care for that card. The Stork. Both work. This is your home and hearth stork building a nest, and this is the stork flying, moving, relocating. The Dog. Both good cards. The Tower. Both very similar. More modern, and this is more ancient and crumbled and weathered. Garden. Both very nice. Mountain. Those both work. Now on this card, Crossroads, or the path, they call this the fork, and you can actually see a fork in the road, and this they just call roads. So for the purposes of the Lenornand oracle, I prefer this crossroads, or fork they call it, but you know, they both work. There are different meanings in the little white book depending on which deck you're using. And we have either mice or rats, similar, but slight different take on the card. We have the heart. Both very nice, both very romantic. The ring. I prefer this ring. This one is very busy. You can hardly see the ring. There's a purse there under it, flowers, a table. Well, they both have a table, but it's very evident when you look at first glance that this is a ring. This card, not so much. What I'm thinking I might do, since the backs of the cards are the same, is just go out and pick my favorites between the two decks and make my own deck, and not worry about you know, whether it's lilac or cherry. I may do that, because in this deck I prefer this book to this book. Here we have the letter. I prefer this letter because you can see it, whereas this is sort of busy. There are letters, lots of correspondence there. The man. So we have a younger man or an older man. The woman. Again, a younger woman or an older woman. two versions of the lilies, whether you prefer white or red as in the German tradition. Lilies. The sun. In general, I like this sun better. You can actually see the sun rays and the sunshine. This is not quite so clear that you're looking at the sun. Sort of more clouds and so forth there. Here is the moon. Trying to reduce the glare here for you. That's a little better. The moon. Both of these are beautiful moon cards, so I would like either one. The key. Much too busy, this card. Much too busy. Too many things on that table. Here you've got the key and the door. If you're going to add anything to the key card, it should just be the door or the lock. So I prefer this one. And we have fish, or fishes as they tag it here. I like both of these fish cards actually. Here we've got the goldfish in a bowl, and here we've got some fish in a pond. Both work. Now both of these anchor cards to me look a little dark and a little difficult to tell what you're looking at first glance. If I had to pick one as a favorite, I think I would pick this one, because this one, it sort of blends into the foreground there and you can't really tell that you're looking at an anchor. So I realize it's a dark deck, but that's a little bit too difficult to look at there. And the cross. I much prefer this. It's very plain that you're looking at a cross. Here it looks like you're maybe looking at mountains or forests or something, and the cross has got like a sun in the middle, way too far in the distance. So I much prefer this cross. So that is my quick walkthrough of the Lilac and Cherry Twilight Lenornand. Hopefully I didn't get a bootleg deck. I hope you enjoyed this review, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.